This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, welcome to Paranormal Pets, and for this episode, I've got Achilles and Patroclus, the new paranormal pugs, and we are here at Albert Whitted Airport. We are actually standing at which building right now?
This is the original terminal at Albert Whitted Airport, started by National Airlines in the 1930s. And this is where, on the south side of the airport, is where everyone would wait for the planes to come in so they could depart.
Excellent. And so we're actually going to start our case here. We have permission to walk the pugs around the perimeter. We'll see what they get, and we'll do all of that right after these messages.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello and welcome back to Paranormal Pets. So before we start this episode, there's a little bit of a backstory. So the Spirits of St. Petersburg and the Paranormal Pugs actually went to do this investigation in November of 2018. After the investigation, I was very excited because I had Patroclus on his first investigation and Achilles as kind of a transitional paranormal pug. It was after Odysseus died, and it was our first paranormal investigation with a new pug. So it was kind of an interesting time period. So I was very excited to see what kind of results we got. Well, lo and behold, my digital recorder went missing. I searched my car. I checked to see if it had been turned in at the airport. I checked lost and found at work. I could not imagine where this thing went. I knew I had taken it from the investigation, but it never showed up. Nobody reported it. I couldn't find it. Well, today, April 23rd, yes, I found a little item that I picked up for my art. So essentially, there's a robot art competition coming up, and I would like to make a robot mermaid. Don't ask questions, just go with that artistic idea, right? But I like to use a lot of found objects. So as I'm out walking, I found this cute little thing that I think could be a jaw for a robot. So I picked it up and I was kind of tossing it into the car, and it slipped from my hand, and I heard it kind of rattle down by the seat. So I thought, okay. And I went to search for this little piece of metal that I wanted to pull out of the car when I got home. And lo and behold, I found my digital recorder. Now you have to understand, I searched this car and searched and searched. I have no idea where this thing was. Maybe it got loosened as I drove. It was kind of wedged to the side of a seat, but it was really wild. So we're a little bit late with this Paranormal Pets episode, but I thought I would give you a little bit of background, and I have listened to the initial recording. Unfortunately, there's a lot of background noise on this investigation, but you can at least hear some of the responses that we got with EVPs. And if you are curious about the rest of the investigations, feel free to go to www.spiritsofstpetersburg.com. Go to current cases and then scroll down to Albert Whitted Airport, and I've actually kind of kept everything together. What a lot of folks don't know is that Albert Whitted, for whom the airport was named, was an avid flyer, and he trained pilots during the World War I period. So he was actually a pioneer pilot. This area, Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg, Florida, was actually the birth of the airline industry. So in addition to Albert Whitted, who was here, we also had a fellow by the name of Janice, for whom Janice Landing is named, and also haunted, coolly enough. But Janice actually had, it's not exactly a pontoon plane, but something similar to that. And he would charge $5 a person to to fly them across Tampa Bay, which, of course, at that time, without, a lot of automobiles and not a lot of road work connecting Tampa and St. Petersburg over the Tampa Bay, it was a very long journey. It would take, several hours to go around the long way. So this was a shortcut. I think it was half an hour, but I'd have to double check that. So this area actually has a long history of interactions with airplanes, air pilots, and pioneering ideas. And again, Albert Whitted was one of them who actually, again, trained pilots for World War I. So remember, the World Wars are kind of where we get the idea of an Air Force. So he's actually pre-Air Force. Unfortunately, after the war, he lived in Pensacola, Florida, and he was still flying. And this is the unfortunate part, not that he lived in Pensacola, but that his plane, during one of his flights, probably lost a propeller. Something fell off of the plane, and he crashed, and it killed him. So, and not only him, it killed his passengers as well. So, the airport is named for somebody who has passed away, but who did not die in the area. The initial email that I got was from a friend of mine who works there. She is an artist, and she also works at this airport. And she sent in and said, "We like to joke that his ghost wanders the airfield, especially since the terminal doors open and close at will sometimes. I take it more seriously than the others do, though. I think he loved aviation so much that he returned to the airport that bears his name. He possibly resides in Hangar 1, which has been around since the 19-teens. So we are talking very early airport. I'm sure that there is spirit activity near Hangar 1, which is also where the original terminal was. And what I find pretty interesting is that later investigations, my sensitives were drawn to that hangar, not even knowing what it was. And it is the area where a lot of activity is reported to happen. There was a second haunting. There's a man who works at the airport whose father also worked there. And his father passed away unexpectedly of a heart attack. So the father actually worked at Albert Whitted Airport for about 30 years. His son has worked there 15 years. And the son actually said that one morning around 6 a.m., he and another worker were setting up for the day, and they both heard a woman's whispery voice very faintly saying hello. Now, the terminal wasn't open, and no one else was there. Now, in addition to that, the son has reported seeing his father kind of walking away from him. His father was a mechanic. He's a mechanic, but his father walking away from him on occasion. It's not a clear image, but he sees movement and he sees his father. There was another update, have had some interesting incidences in the last few days, as if the energy is ramping up here. Just half an hour ago, my two coworkers and I were talking in the lobby when we heard something in the back room. We thought it was the boss coming in, but something knocked over a rack of umbrellas. No one was there to do it either. So our first investigation was pretty interesting. We did do a walkthrough with Achilles and Patroclus. Again, this was an unusual configuration of pugs, particularly because actually at this point, I guess I had not lost Odysseus. I said that he was not feeling well and I left him at home. Oh, that makes me feel even sadder right now. But this was Patroclus' first investigation. I actually thought Odysseus had already passed away, but it was technically the day after his birthday that my poor Odysseus died. And in fact, I think this was the weekend right before he passed. So, yikes, what a case this was. It was a cool and breezy night. We walked the perimeter of the hangar and we went into the terminal building. The pugs were not much help. Now, again, remember that this was Patroclus' first investigation, and Achilles and Odysseus were very much a pair. So they both seemed a bit awkward with each other. Patroclus, however, did spend a great deal of time, about 30 seconds, steadily staring at one spot in the terminal. So it was one desk area where actually this woman works, and I believe she actually had some phenomena there where she felt somebody, I think, touch her behind the desk, which was interesting. My sensitive did feel that we were being watched from the second floor of a hangar building. We did have EMF spikes outside of the original 1920s or 19-teens hangar, especially in reference to one long-term employee, the father that I reported just a few minutes ago. So again, his son currently works at the airport and has reported seeing his father go by. When I asked if this was HJ, the father senior, the EMF spiked, It responded to that question by the 1920s hangar. And again, when we asked the same question in the terminal building, we actually had chills in the terminal building. We did actually look for the air conditioning as well. When we did some research, there was really one accident that happened, but it was fairly recent. We did try to find out if there were possible connections. There was a patron who rode his bike every day to the airport who died the year before. There was an image of a woman by the name of Rosemary who helped create the terminal, which was built in 2007. But it's not her because she's still with us. So it was actually kind of an interesting investigation. Ultimately, what I will play for you right after these messages is the most interesting part of the paranormal investigation with the pugs. So obviously I'm going to cut this down a little bit, but subsequent investigations, we had a little bit more activity. And as I said, the pugs weren't terribly helpful, except for that one moment where Patroclus was so focused on that desk area. So this actually kind of becomes a baseline reading for me when it comes to Patroclus as a paranormal pug. He actually did fairly well on his second case, which we just did last weekend at the Philippi Temple Mound. And in all honesty, he is an odd pug. He is one that I would say is more feline than canine. He's kind of aloof. He came without any siblings, and of course, he came to an established grumble, but I raised him from a puppy. But he's always been kind of an odd fellow, and he does remind me a little bit more of a cat in some ways. So I actually say that pugs are a mixture of canine, feline, and human. Some pugs are more human in their behaviors and their interactions and their empathy. Some are a little bit more canine, and you're like, okay, a little more dog-like. But Patroclus is one of the rare, more feline-like. He wants attention when he wants it. He can be kind of enigmatic. But what surprised me is his level of interest and really his response rate. I'm thinking that he really might have some potential as a paranormal pug. I don't know if I will take him with Achilles again. I have not had the opportunity to retest him. But as a single pug, he didn't do too badly. So kind of keep in tune with this and we'll see where it goes. But I will actually play the snippet of the investigation for you right after we return from these messages.
Now, time for something really scary. A word from our sponsors. Paranormal Pets will reappear before you can say Bigfoot. Don't run away.
Hey there, pet parents. Michelle Fern here. As busy pet parents, we often forget about our own needs and we need to take care of ourselves so we can reach our goals and make our lives that much more fulfilling. Well, there's something that is there to make it better for you, and that's called BetterHelp Online Counseling. You can connect with a professional counselor in a safe and private online environment, and it's super convenient. You can use a desktop, you can use mobile device, and it's iPhone and Android friendly. You can also use a video session. You can use chat or text, whatever you choose. They hook you up with one of their many counselors. They have over 3,000 licensed therapists across the United States. These licensed professionals specialize in depression, anger, family conflict, anxiety, insomnia, trauma, grief. They cover everything. Now, Pet Life Radio has a special discount for you. You'll save 10% off your first month with the discount code PETLIFE. Go ahead and connect with BetterHelp.com and start making your life even that much better.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Did you hear that? Our commercials have mysteriously disappeared. Paranormal Pets is back with our haunted host, our ghost host,
Brandy Stark.
And welcome back to Paranormal Pets. So what we're actually going to do at this point is to play part of the actual investigation. So enjoy. If you pick up on anything that I haven't, please do let me know. In the meantime, see what you get.
Something somebody donated. These are from very old things.
Oh, sorry.
And that's the figure that people see? That's the person?
No, that's Albert Whitted. The figure that my friend saw, he thought was his father, who worked for 30 years.
Can you describe what the figure would look like?
An African-American gentleman, probably 5'10" or so. He,
50s, 60s?
I think he passed away 15 years ago, and he had a heart attack. I'm not sure if he died here. I'll have to ask.
Okay.
I told Howard Jr. about
what we're doing.
This is interesting. Probably in his 50s, I would imagine, because Howard got a pretty spike when she said that. Howard?
Is it Howard here?
He said he was interested in what we're doing.
Howard
is a pretty spike.
Howard, we call him HJ. HJ is interested in connecting with his father again if possible.
Okay.
His father worked here for 30 years.
So is Howard Sr. here with us right now? Are you the one that opens the doors? If the answer is yes. Oh, well, we did get a good spike there. So can you confirm that this is you? Are you Howard Sr.? If the answer is yes, will you please make that spike again, just like you did? I always get the impression they're like, I told you once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a chill.
Right?
Are you looking to reconnect with your son? Do you let him know that you're here? There's a small spike on that. Can you confirm that you're looking to reconnect with your son, please? Make that spike again. You all right? Good to see us, Achilles? Sorry, it's Achilles. Here we go. You okay, buddy? Oh, he's looking a little nervous. You all right? Come on, it's okay.
Is he just hot or is he getting warm?
Well, this is unusual. I think he's nervous. Who? Achilles.
Which one is he? Something?
Achilles is the older guy here.
Does that usually mean he senses something?
He's not focused enough. Usually when he senses something, he stops and he'll stare.
Oh.
So I'm not quite sure why is this. But he travels. You all right?
The flickering light I usually see in this alcove over here by the drinking cup.
Bathrooms are? Where the bathrooms are?
And did the people who sponsored the airport, the terminal, they passed away as well, I think we asked?
I don't know. I probably this terminal was built in 2007.
Oh, it's young. It's a young terminal.
Yeah.
So would Howard Sr. have worked here? So no, he wouldn't have been here.
No, it would have been over there, over by the original hangar.
Okay. So do you think it's two different entities? Guys, it's not working, honey. Okay. Me again. Believe it or not, I walk 4 at a time, and so you kind of learn how to undo things, usually. There we go. We good?
I don't know. I could be. I would like to think several people drifting in and out.
What'd you see, baby?
I do. There is something else there, actually. Something else. There was a gentleman named Bill that used to come here, an older gentleman.
Okay.
He had a heart attack and died about 9 months ago, and he would always come ride his bike in here and go sit on that sofa.
Oh, that'd be interesting. What time did he come to the airport?
He would come, he lived in Snow Isle. He actually rode his bike. He was like 83 years old. It's amazing. It's like he rode his bike here usually between 12:30 and 1:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And he would always just hang out, and he'd bring everybody candy, bring them fruit. He was a real nice guy. And one day he had a heart attack and went up to the hospital and did eventually pass. Somebody said, well, maybe it's Bill, because he would always come through the store, too, with his bike. He'd wheel his bike in, park it right there. He'd sit down and just hang out. He was a sweet guy.
But you said the doors normally open like in the morning around 6:30 or so.
So is this Bill that's here? If the answer is yes, can you make that meter spike, please? Are you the one that comes here early in the morning? Nothing?
Stand steady at 0.
I'm thinking probably it's Howard Sr.
Could be Howard.
Okay. Okay.
I wonder what the lady's voice was, like the two actually. It was
Now that's a good
Howard
question.
Jr. and another coworker both heard it. It was early in the morning. Nobody was upstairs yet. And they were just standing here and they heard a lady's voice saying, hello. And they turned to each other and went, did you hear that? It wasn't just one hearing things, it was both of them that heard.
Could it have been her?
Could have been. I don't even know her name. Galbraith. I don't know the first name.
It's fine. Come on. So we'll have to see any female patrons. But it only happened once?
Oh, as far as I know, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. And they came down and there was no one here?
Oh, they were standing right over by my desk, just shooting the breeze, and they just heard this lady voice. They said it sounded like an older lady, like a little old lady voice. Hello. Could it be Rosemary?
All right,
Rosemary.
try it.
Could it be Rosemary? Is it Rose?
Yeah, John Rosemary.
It's Rosemary here.
And again, if the answer is yes, if you can make the meter spike.
It kind of went up to 2.
All right. Can you verify that you're here, Rosemary? Can you do it again? Can you make that meter spike, please? Is Rosemary here?
Chill
Yeah.
on my side.
A chill on my left side as well.
Right here on my arm and my chest.
Oh, there's an airbag back there.
Above us, maybe. But that's on this side. Okay.
Rosemary, if you're here.
Well, that was a little spike. Are you the one who said hello? Were you asking if anyone was here? If the answer is yes, can you make that spike again, please?
Have you made yourself known to anybody here?
Oh, they're quiet tonight, huh? So we ought to set the investigation for 5 o'clock in the morning and see what happens. I don't think I'd be here, though. So.
Let me know if you want to someday.
Rosemary, we'd really love it if you'd come talk to us.
Come be on our devices. Let the pugs know you're here.
Do you like dogs, Rosemary?
Did you see Achilles?
Are you afraid of dogs, Rosemary?
Well, happily, these are pugs, so. What do you see, baby? That was my fault. He was focused for a minute. Somebody there? Well, that we know that's a person. But what did you see before? Was there somebody out there?
Brief flip.
I was originally. I was
Brief flip, it was your phone, probably.
I was hoping it was Albert Whitted that was, coming to check on his airport.
Maybe.
You know.
He's probably hanging out in Pensacola, but you never know. You
Well,
never
I
know.
don't know how that works. How does that work? I mean, if he.
You can move around.
They can go wherever they want to go.
The nice thing about being dead.
Well, when he found out they had it named the airport after him, I'm sure he was probably pretty pleased.
But that was after he had passed.
Yes.
Okay, but he was still physically here, and he was at that hangar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This right here, I think, was just tie down space for aircraft.
Originally.
And the terminal was over there. Now it's the opposite.
Oh, how interesting.
We still got tie down space here, but this was all. I think this is all grass. Yeah, it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. I think this was all grass, and then it was just chain link fence for a long time, and all the activity, all the passengers and offices were there.
Okay. Well, is there anything else we should ask while we're here, do you think?
We've asked everything. Did you ask him if Albert Whitted was here? I can't remember.
We'll try again just to make sure. So is Albert Whitted here? If the answer is yes, can you make that meter spike, please? Make it move to the right. Make this needle move this way. Is this Howard Sr.? If the answer is yes, can you make that needle spike? It's Howard. It just did. Okay.
And that's what we were getting over the hanger, too.
Yeah, I think it's him.
Okay, wow.
Well, there you go. So, does Patroclus have some potential? We will find out. Activity actually at the airport declined tremendously, particularly after our last investigation, which took place at the end of the month. But I suspect activity will kind of pick up again. I tried to explain that it's a little bit like a student who's raising their hand and calling for the teacher's attention and then all of a sudden gets to give the answer, right? And you kind of feel that sense of relief and almost exhaustion. And I think entities do that as well. So hopefully we'll be invited back. Maybe I'll take Patroclus as a solitary paranormal pug and we'll see where things go. In the meantime, remember to adopt. There's plenty of animals out there that definitely need some good homes, and I know my listeners are good pet owners. Until the next time, I will wish you happy haunting and bid you adieu.
Pet Life Radio presents Paranormal Pets, where you can always expect the unexpected. Each week we'll discuss all aspects of weird or spiritual animal encounters, ghosts, totems, psychic animals, animal souls, animal angels, and animals in religion, with a little cryptozoology thrown in. Step into the supernatural world of pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.